Aloha and welcome to Spirit Chat. So, I wanted to do an energy report because there's a lot going on energetically. I know that I posted one for you the other day, but that was more of an annual, yearly energy report. And I don't think I've done just a regular energy update since the end of February. So, I thought it was very important because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So, there's a lot that you should probably know about, especially if you're psychically sensitive. You most likely are aware of it. But I'm also going to give you kind of 5 tips on how to deal with energy going on right now and explain a little bit more of why this is a super intense time energetically. Although I'm sure in your brain you're like, well, that's pretty self explanatory. Anyways, so those who are psychically sensitive and or spiritually sensitive, you're tuned into your spiritual body, you're empath, anything along those lines. If you happen to be sensitive to energies, for those of you who are like that, there are really basically 3 areas that you are the most sensitive to. And these 3 areas most likely affect your lives at different points in different times, sometimes at the same time. And yay for us, they're happening all at one time right now. So, what those 3 areas are when you're sensitive will be people energy, dealing with people's vibrations, their situations, just people in general. It can be anything from their perspective to their attitude to just the vibration that they hold, because everybody holds a different vibration, right? They might be of lower vibration, they might be of higher vibration, but regardless of where they fall on the scale, people energy usually affect those who are sensitive because you're around people a lot and it tends to be directed at other people. Then we have astrological or universal energy, which I'm just going to group together at this point in time. Astrological, planetary alignment, stuff that's going on universally, that is another area that usually tends to affect those who are psychically sensitive and or sensitives, empaths, people who are, affected by energy. You're affected by new moon, full moon, usually planetary alignment stuff, retrogrades, all kinds of things will upset your world or make things better, or you just might just be very aware of it just because the intensity of it might be pretty strong. So astrological and universal energy is another category. Then we have spiritual energy. This one's a little bit trickier because with people energy, that's really the easiest one to detect. Hands down, bar none, easiest one to detect. Because people are very physical, right? And you're visual and they're right in front of you. And their behaviors or attitudes or different things, you're very aware of that. You're very tuned into that. It's very much a physical interaction. Facial expressions, hand movements, tones of voice, different things like that. It's a very interactive energy between people. So that's super easy to identify. Astrological energy is a little bit easier to identify than the last one. It's not as easy to identify as people energy. When we're being affected astrologically, there are ways that we can usually tell. That would be through the lunar cycles and planetary alignment. And we have access to all these amazing tools now as far for planetary alignment if you don't know anything about that. And you can, read up on that or train yourself to read into what's going on planetary wise. As far as the moon and lunar cycles go, that's pretty easy because, again, it's a very visual thing. You can visually see the moon and match that to different types of behaviors. I don't know how many people, actually, I don't know anybody maybe it's just because me and I'm a little weird, and everybody who surrounds me is used to that. But I just, I don't personally know people who don't believe in, oh, it's a full moon. People are being kind of crazy. Even though, even for people who don't even believe in what I do, and I do have many of those people in my life as well that are just, I'm not sure I believe that kind of stuff. Um, Even those people will be like, oh, yeah, it's a full moon. People are kind of being crazy. There's the crazies out. Everyone tends to be somewhat aware of at least full moon. And if you're sensitive to energies, you might also notice the different intensities between new moon and full moon. But it's something again that's very visual. You can look at it and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. When we get to the spiritual aspect of things, then things start to get a lot harder, because while if you're sensitive, the chances of you being affected by spiritual energy is 99.999%. It's very high. Your knowledge of spiritual energy might be very low. And unless you do the proper training, proper classes, proper development, it might be something that is definitely affecting your life. However, you're just not aware it is, or you tend to brush it off as in, that's not really a thing, or how would I know it's a thing? Or you might not even know it's a thing. It just might be something you've never even thought about before. So that one can become a little bit trickier, because the way that spiritual energy affects our lives is something that a lot of people are not necessarily aware of. Okay? So we have this trifecta of things going on right now energetically. And wow, is it causing some major stress, worry, frustration, and apparently panic and kind of crazed behavior, with all the stuff with the coronavirus and stuff going on. We have a very, it's definitely the trifecta of some really low vibration energy, as weird as this is. We've got the people who are being influenced by media and or other people and or just job situations or city situations that's causing people to freak out. And I mean freak out. Like, it's a scary thing if somebody says we're having a pandemic. It's a scary thing for you to worry that there's something coming around that you're maybe not familiar with. And it's scary to not know potentially what might happen to your loved ones if you go down that rabbit hole, right? So a lot of people are really going down that rabbit hole. They are not necessarily researching a lot about it. They're not necessarily getting a lot of facts about it. They're receiving media facts, and regardless of how that goes down, it's bringing a lot of people's vibration down to a very, very low level. So energetically, most likely you are surrounded by, even if you are not one of the people who are reacting in a way that is causing your vibration to lower, if you are not one of those people, most likely you're surrounded by a lot of people who are of lower vibration right now, who are being affected, who are fearful, and who are worried, and they've gone down that rabbit hole so far that they're having a hard time seeing the light. If that happens, like I talked about in my other podcast, I have some tips for you on that in a minute. But there's a lot of people, most likely you're going to be surrounded by people in fear and worry. So we got that component, right? Then we have the other component, which is what's going on astrologically right now. And astrologically, we are really in a time of challenge. A lot of the astrological stuff is pointing towards, during this particular time, sickness, worry, grief, heavy influence of sickness, worry, grief type of stuff. There's also an undertone of being very responsible and seriousness to this astrological alignment. And even some stuff about, misfortune, restraint, that sort of thing. So basically, astrologically, things are kind of lining up with a little bit of fear, a little bit of worry, taking things seriously and being responsible. So now we have that underlying component along with the people that are of low vibration. And then you add in the third trifecta, the third factor, which is what's going on spirit-wise right now. This is something I kind of really wanted to talk about because it's been a topic of conversation in my household for the last few days or last week or so. It's something that I find very interesting, not super awesome, not to worry. I'm not trying to freak you out, but it's something that it's kind of fascinated me, but it's not something that I'm enjoying, I guess I would say. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I started noticing a different movement with spirit energy and how spirit energy was working. And I get a lot of information through my dreams. It's how my guides contact me. It's how I work with my council. I also contact with my guides, my council during my waking hours. But when it comes to the energy reports and it comes to a lot of stuff that's going on globally or further that I'm supposed to then share with you guys, is shown to me in a dream state. And so a few weeks ago, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks ago, I started being shown the different characteristics of the movement of the low vibration energies that are coming in. And what I mean by that is normally if you have a group of people that are of low vibration and maybe even a global pandemic, even a local one, citywide, maybe you've had a disaster of some sort or whatever. What tends to happen is when a larger group of people start getting fearful and worried, their vibration lowers in a way that low vibration spiritual energy can then come in and align with those people because now you're matching like for like vibration, right? And so that is food and attraction for low vibration energy. They just come in droves, and they just cling to anybody holding a lower vibration. So what you normally see in a situation such as that, and I've been doing this for my whole life, but professionally for 30 years, but what you normally see, what I've normally seen in the past that I'm familiar with, this is going to sound really weird because I hate it when people talk about stuff like this, and you're going to know it if you follow me, but you would want to imagine it like the low vibrations are coming in sort of like the Walking Dead type of things. They're coming in droves, groups, like zombies, I guess I would say. They are of lower vibration, but they're not working together. So even if they're coming in groups because they're being attracted and they're being very much pulled towards people of lower vibration, they tend to be individualized, I guess I would say. Something different has happened within the last couple, 2 to 3 weeks or month. Might have even been a month. Probably was more like a month or so. I started seeing a shift, which I thought was very unusual and interesting because it's not something I personally have seen before. And that was the lower vibrations were coming in, but they were working together. And that is not awesome, but it's not something you should be scared of at all by any means. It's just that their behavior is different. It's probably something maybe you're not even noticing. However, if you think about it, you probably are noticing it because then that also festers with fear and worry, which makes it very heightened, I guess I would say. So I started having dreams and being shown basically what seems to be like gangs of spirits, where they would be in groups and they would be working together, and they would be definitely targeting and going after people and situations as a group, working together, bonding together with this very specific intention of not, of course, physically harming anybody, because that's not how that works, but really banding together in a way that they're intimidating or lowering people's vibrations. And that is, like I said, something different, because now instead of feeling lower vibrations kind of individually and moving them, kind of avoiding them and letting them roll off you and clearing them out and moving around them, you're dealing with groups of them that are binding together, and now they're a much more powerful source. And this started happening to me a little while ago, and then my son had come to me and said, and who is a very strong medium, one day, and said the very same thing. He said, "I've never seen this before, and you know what I seen last night? I started seeing these gangs of spirits." And I was like, "Huh, well, yeah, I've been watching that for a few weeks." And he said, I've never seen it, and it was very bizarre. And he goes, "But they were together, like they were grouping together with the intention of just kind of being destructive with anything in their path." And I'm like, "Yep, that's what I definitely seen that." And what his observation during that time, my same observation, was when we were in this scenario, they didn't mess with either one of us because our vibration is so high. They knew not to focus on us, so they focused on people that were around. And they devoted their attention towards those people. And so that is something that I noticed, that if you keep a high vibration, if you keep kind of your wits about you during something like this, during this huge pandemic of fear and worry, these lower vibrations won't mess with you at all. They tend to just kind of avoid you because there's too much other low vibration food out there for them to go ahead and just snack on and cause their havoc around. And so they're not interested at all, because they know that it doesn't matter if there's 10 very low vibrations spirits standing together. A high vibration can trump that very easily. We're a lot more powerful. And so it's something where they're just not interested in messing with that. There's plenty for them to go around. Here's the other thing. So you may or may not be having dreams of groups or bands of spirits, and or they may even just be dreams of gangs, or dreams of gangs of people trying to cause harm or trying to cause havoc or different things. This is going to be something that you potentially might tune into, because that's really kind of what's going on spiritually right now. The other thing that you will want to watch for is something that I found also a little bit more different. That's not even a word. A little bit different than normal is when you have a low vibration energy that wants to kind of mess with you or bring your vibration down. It really wants to cause problems in your life because that's their goal. What tends to happen is they communicate through thoughts. This is something that is I've talked about before. And so you will find that their communication will be like, "Oh, you'll never be able to do that," et cetera, et cetera. So things that you think are random thoughts, random negative thoughts of your own, I would never attribute that. I have tongue twisters today. Attribute that necessarily to your own thought process. In fact, I find that 80% of the time or more, that's instigated by a low vibration of some sort. And so we want to be mindful of that when we are of higher sensitivities. I'll give you an example of this, which I am going to share my specific experience with you because it's so ridiculous. And this is when I knew that it was getting really intense. In my personal life, I'm not very, I guess I would say, influenced by lower vibration spirit talk because I'm trained so well, and I've been doing this for so long that I catch the random thoughts, and I usually can tell the difference between the vibration, and so it's very easily weeded out for me. Not that I don't have them, I absolutely have them. I'm human, but they don't tend to affect my life very much at all because I have them, and then I identify with what's happening, and then it just goes out my head, and then I do some things that I need to do to shift my energy to make sure that there's a little bit more protection at that time. But even saying this is just so ridiculous. I can't even tell you. So when I had a very intense thought that matched a low vibration, that should have clued me in right away. But the intensity of it was really, really strong, and I'm not used to that, hence the banding together that they're doing. And all of a sudden, I am literally watching TV. Not even doing anything that has to do with spirit work or nothing. Not even watching coronavirus stuff, like nothing that has to do with anything, pure entertainment, sitting there enjoying my day or my night or whatever. And all of a sudden, I had this most weirdest random thought of, what if I forget how to communicate with spirits? And then I'm like, and then what if but that's my next class. That's actually the next class I have to teach. What if I completely forget what I need to tell people? And then that's actually what I do for a living. And then I started going into this whole thing. I kid you not. It was so strong and so undetected by even myself. This literally went on for like 5 to 10 minutes before I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is the most ridiculous thing. I've never even ever thought something like that in my entire life. And I immediately, once I just stopped going down that rabbit hole, it was just so ridiculous. I mean, literally, because it's just like something I do on my day-to-day life. That'd be like saying, what if I forgot how to cook my dinner? Or what if I forgot how to put my socks on? That's how ridiculous it was. And I was like, wow. Immediately I was very shocked and very aware at the intensity of how that just really worked itself around me really quickly. So I thought, okay, that was super sneaky. And then I realized that there was a lot more strength to what was going on. And that is also being amplified by the people energy, 100%. And it's being amplified by some astrological stuff, but that is going to change. The astrological stuff, of course, that's always moving and always shifting. But just to show you that I'm not immune to it, but that the clues were very clear, obviously, very quickly, and I don't have any issues with any of this. I wasn't thinking about anything. Nothing that should have aligned with this whatsoever. There was no thought process that even went that direction, and all of a sudden it was just like, bam, how about this? What if you forgot about that? And for my particular life, it's something I've done my entire life, and it's just the way I live. It's not necessarily for my personal life, I don't view it necessarily as a skill that I've developed because it's just been who I am my entire life. So it's not separate from me in any way. So again, it was so ridiculous. And so then I knew there's some major strength going on behind this. There really, really is. So I became very, very a lot more tuned in to any low vibration thoughts that would come my way. In fact, from that point on, I was cleaning house mentally every day with anything that even seemed remotely like a low vibration. I'm like, nope, you're out. Nope, you're out. Sidetrack myself. not even going to entertain that thought. We're out. You're done moving. Move on. You're not allowed here in my space. So I'm going to give you some tips to dealing with this because you frankly might need them. I even had to rework what I was doing for half a minute, just simply for the fact of, you will not hear really loud noises all day till I do a podcast. Swear to God. Anyways, I thought that I would give you some tips of dealing with this because I think you'll find it very helpful. The first tip is kind of going to go with tip number 2. So 1 and 2 sort of go together, but I put them in different categories. I'll explain why. The first one is earth energy is very powerful with combating this low vibration stuff that's coming in. It's very, very powerful. This earth energy, the strength of earth energy will far outweigh any low vibration stuff. So making sure that you have earth energy in your system is very, very important. And how you do that is going to be a few different ways. One of the things about earth energy is being in nature and being outside and really kind of tuning into the earth and in nature at this point. I know that's hard for a lot of people because it's winter time outside, in a lot of the areas. Actually, I'm not really sure the temperature, but anyways, I know it's winter time in a lot of places, but if you can at all be outside and just be in earth at all, or in tune with earth at all, you're going to get a charge from earth energy, and that's going to be really, really important, which also leads us into grounding. Grounding is going to be very, very important right now, and grounding essentially means that you are ridding yourself of excess energy while you are replacing that excess energy with earth energy. So you are not just ridding yourself of energy, but you are pulling up earth energy at the same time. You can pull up earth energy through your floors of your house. You don't necessarily have to be outside. When you're outside, it's a lot easier, and there's there's more strength to it as far as it's easier to grab the earth energy. But you absolutely can grab earth energy from in your home if it's cold out. You can do it through meditations. You can do it through clearings, but the other thing is going to be exercise. This is going to be hugely important if you're wanting to balance better with earth and grounding yourself in earth energy, releasing old and low vibration energy and pulling in earth energy. The other thing is clearing is going to be very, very important right now. You're going to be having people who are going to call you on the phone, who are going to stop by, although I know people are supposed to be not doing that, but you're going to have people doing that, and they're going to leave weird, fearful thoughts and energy in your house and around you and over the phone, and then they're going to affect your vibration, and then you're going to be susceptible to having low vibration energy come in. You just want to keep it clear your house. I am trying to clear my house daily and my bedroom nightly. It's very, very important. If you're in any of my groups, I actually just posted a whole thing on how to do a clearing. If you're not, you can go ahead and join the group below because I have a link to it. So you will want to clear, ground, earth energy. The other thing is something that I talked about before, which is spiritual distancing. You do not want to engulf yourself with somebody's low vibration energy. You want to spiritually distance yourself. I'm not even kidding. Spiritual distancing. If they're fearful and worried, you can't do much to help them when they're going on the media websites all the time and they're feeding into the media frenzy that's happening right now. You're not going to be able to do enough for them to shift their vibration to a higher location. It's just a higher frequency. It's not going to happen. This is a save yourself kind of thing. And so spiritual distancing, you want to make sure that your own vibration is high. This is where you need to put your focus right now. Unless you're going to do it with, your little children or something like that. It doesn't even matter if it's a spouse or whatever. You just don't want to join hands with their low vibration. And the way to do that is spiritual distancing. You just keep away from their vibration. You tune out their vibration. You sidetrack yourself from their vibration. You keep them at a you keep your distance from them spiritually. You don't align with their vibration spiritually. You have to keep them out of your circle, or their thoughts and worries will just kind of sneak in and grab onto your vibration and start pulling it down like little weights, like little anchors. And you don't want that attaching to you. So you have to just keep your distance from what they're going through. Like I said, this is a personal journey for you right now. And you're going to find that, hopefully, you're going to find, is one of the things that I'm working with my students on, is everybody's going to have a personal lesson going on right now. This is in alignment with the astrological stuff. It's in alignment with what's happening energetically. Right now, this is the tip number 5, is really to pay attention and shifting your mindset and finding out what your personal lesson is right now. Because there's going to be a lot of positivity that essentially happens, but you need to reach for that and figure out what that is, because it's going to be different for everybody, right? Everybody is going to have a different personal lesson. And I honestly believe that most of the lessons there are definitely going to be way more positive lessons than there are negative lessons. You might have more than one lesson. You might have 10 lessons. But this is a time of mindset and perspective. And instead of spending your time sorting through what everybody else is going through and what's happening globally, this is a very, very good time to just go, what's happening internally with me, with my fears or my worries? What's kind of going on? What lesson am I getting from this? What am I learning from this? Am I learning that I'm stronger than I think I am? Am I learning that I actually am really surrounded by a lot of low vibration people? Am I learning that I'm a healer? I feel the need to heal, and I want to pursue that more. What lesson am I getting from this? Am I feeling like I'm grateful for where I'm at, and I was underappreciating that before? I was underappreciating so many amazing things in my life, and I want to be more mindful of that appreciation. Is that something that I'm learning? Because I think a lot of people are going to find that they were underappreciating areas of their life. They were underappreciating some stability things, and they were underappreciating, access to certain things. Or maybe they were learning about themselves what they really enjoyed. Or maybe they learned that they're really enjoying connecting with family members because they're now made to stay home, right? So there's going to be so many amazing lessons for you. So shifting your mindset and being mindful of what lessons that you have going on right now at this moment, because this is a big theme with the energy coming through right now, is your personal lessons. And don't try to figure out your lessons with other people. These are your individual, on a very personal level lessons. You will find that there are probably fears and worries that you can actually go, wow, this isn't so bad, or wow, that's not so bad. You'll find that you're probably going to discover that you're stronger than you thought you were. You have more gratitude for your life. There's going to be something very cool in this lesson, because the theme to finding this lesson is actually positive. So the theme to it is you should be discovering something with a positive note in your life, in your lesson. There's something underlying that has positivity to it that you discover. And that is going to be super cool. So the theme should be positivity in your lesson, because that's what's happening right now. That's in the energy. That's in the astrology stuff going on. Is finding something positive going on. So you want to do your earth energy stuff, your nature, all of that. You're really connecting, with earth energy foods, earth energy produce, whatever, grounding, and making sure that you're, you know, bringing earth energy back in with that. Oh, earth energy, you could do like water and stuff too, like showers, saunas, hot tubs, things like that. You can do that if you're cold on the mainland. Clearing out all the junk. Spiritual distancing. You guys keep all that fear and worry to yourself. I have to save myself. Sorry. You just keep that over there. If you're good and you're positive, you totally can come over into my circle. But other than that, you just kind of keep your distance over there, because I can't allow that to infect me at all, right? And then you have your mindset and your lesson, right? Your perspective, your mindset, your lesson, which is all one thing. So if you enjoyed this, definitely subscribe to iTunes or YouTube, because I'm doing a lot more videos. I'm not having the time to post them all everywhere on my social media. So absolutely, definitely subscribe and like it, please, if you like it. And comments. I'm going to be trying to get to the comments still in the first 24 hours. I love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. If you enjoyed it, if you found it helpful, all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you over at in my Keys to the Spirit World group. All my links are below if you do want to get into the healing aspect in the world. We do a lot more in-depth cool stuff like this over at Empaths. So anyways, I hope you found that helpful. You're going to totally make it through this. Everything's going to be amazing in a little while. So just don't fall into the fear, but watch for the fearful thoughts and the random dreams. Anyways, other than that, I will talk to you soon. Have the most amazing day. Aloha.